Hey everybody, and welcome to Meals with Melissa, where I come up with healthy options of things you love to eat. Now, this is a good one, I'm gonna tell you, because I know a lot of people go gluten-free, they need a better option for pizza crust. The cauliflower ones are great, but what if you just wanna make something from scratch that works, that tastes good? I've got a recipe for you. So today we are going to make coconut flour pizza crust. Now, of course, I've already tried this. It works great. And I'm gonna give you a couple of tips on how to find a low sugar or even sugar-free pizza sauce. So here we go. All right, so I've already heated my oven to 400 degrees. I have oiled, I'm just using a casserole dish, it's glass. I've oiled it so that it doesn't stick. You can also use a pizza pan if that works for you. The oven is ready. What I'm gonna do is, it's just a few ingredients, pretty much everything I had here. So we're gonna take 4 eggs, and I'm gonna mix that with 2 tablespoons of water. And of course, if you're looking for the recipe, I'm going to post it down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, it should be on here as well. So 4 eggs, I'm gonna mix that with 2 tablespoons of water. Super, super easy. Now, I've done the whole like gluten-free crust that you can get from some of the different, pizza places. It's okay. I do go gluten-free because I do have an autoimmune disease, and it really is a great option. I really think most people should be gluten-free, but again, topic for another day. All right, so 4 eggs, and I'm gonna get my water here real quick. Washing my hands, super simple. I'm just gonna get out of the sink for the moment. Usually I get it out of my refrigerator water because that way it's filtered, but for today, we're just gonna do it this way. All right, I also have one done to totally show you. It really doesn't even take that long, not just to make it, but to cook it as well. So oven's at 400 degrees, and I'm gonna mix those together really quick. Then in a separate bowl, I'm gonna mix the dry ingredients. The nice thing is we actually have quite a bit of coconut flour here. Here's the thing, you cannot swap out coconut flour and almond flour. They do not work the same, they're different consistencies. It just won't turn out right. So if you're wanting a recipe that uses the alternative flour, you're gonna have to find a recipe that specifically calls for that so that the texture turns out correctly. All right, so I'm gonna grab another bowl. I'm gonna mix the dry ingredients. So I'm going to utilize, I just gotta check my recipe here. So I'm gonna use 1/4 cup of coconut flour. I'm gonna have quite a bit because, stocked up a while ago. And we don't use it all the time. I don't bake a lot, so it's kind of nice because I have it on hand. It makes that a whole lot easier to do a lot of these recipes when I decide to try something new. So 1/4 cup of flour. Okay. I'm also going to add 1/3 cup of shredded parmesan. Now, again, this is low carb. It is not necessarily low fat. So keep that in mind if you're doing more of a keto style or a low carb, this will work great. Just want to make sure that you pay attention to your macros. Now, the reason why I don't include the macros when I do these is because everybody makes their recipe just a little bit different. And I don't want to put macros down and then have somebody say, well, that wasn't correct. Put it in MyFitnessPal and figure it out. You know that you can actually add recipes to MyFitnessPal. You can save them, and then you can go back and use them if it's a recipe that you use a lot. Okay, so 1/3 cup Parmesan. Now you're gonna mix them in first, and dry ingredients together, just because that way they mix better once you put them in your egg mixture. So kind of messed that up last night when I tried it. It still worked out just fine, and it actually tastes good, so that's a great option. Okay. So, making some noise, making a mess. All right, 1/3 cup. I'm also going to use a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder for flavor. So I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of each of those, mix it up, and then throw it into the egg mixture. So let's get 1/2 teaspoon of one. I'm very good about cleaning up after myself, but I usually make quite the mess while I do this. All right, 1/2 teaspoon of the garlic powder. We go through a lot of this at my house. Not a bad thing. All right, I'm gonna mix this together. Perfect. Now, just so that you know, the texture of the dough is not gonna be like regular dough when you go to put it in your pan. It's actually going to be quite liquidy. So you're going to have to spread it with a spatula or a rubber scraper. Works just fine. It will cook out perfect, and it is, you can actually lift it. You can actually cut it in pizza slices, and you can lift it and eat it by the slice. You don't have to eat it with a fork, although sometimes I do. It just depends on my mood. All right, So I'm gonna throw this in the mixture and mix it together really well. I'm gonna put it in the pan and then I'll show you what it's gonna turn out like when you pull it out of the oven. All right, mix that together. It'll take a second. You wanna really make sure you incorporate it well so that you get all of the dry ingredients, because you might have a few clumps of the coconut flour. Now, while I'm doing this, I want to talk really quickly about pizza sauce, because one of the biggest issues that I find is that most commercially made sauces actually have sugar in them. Some of them, a lot. So keep that in mind, that you want to make sure you're looking at not just the label, the nutrition label on the products that you use, but also the ingredient list, because sometimes they hide stuff in there that you don't realize it has. And of course, some people say, well, it's just a little bit of sugar, who cares? Well, you know, if you're doing multiple things throughout the day that have just a little bit of sugar, it adds up. And don't forget that anything that you eat that has some sort of flour, regular flour, we're talking about wheat, that is basically sugar. It turns to sugar in your system immediately because remember, it's a grain. All right, I'm gonna use my rubber scraper just to make sure that it all gets mixed up. I don't want any sticking to it. And I'm gonna put it in my pan and we'll talk about how long to cook that for. All right. And I am going to include the recipe down below. This is a full recipe. Now you can double or triple it if you're trying to make more. So how this works is you're going to cook it for a little bit, then you're going to add your toppings and then cook it for a little bit longer. You don't want to overcook it the first time or it'll be super, super dry when you go to add the toppings and heat it up. Now I did look for some toppings. I was hoping to find uncured Canadian bacon today, or pepperoni, and I couldn't find either. I've been shopping for 2 days for this. I couldn't find either one, but they do exist. So you might have to do a little bit of searching. You can have, the problem with cured meat is that it's got additives and preservatives that are technically toxins. I know you guys don't like to hear that, but that's kind of how it works. So I look for uncured. And really you could do anything. You could put chicken on it. You could put, I like to do a lot of barbecue chicken pizza with sugar-free barbecue sauce. All right. So I'm gonna stick this in my pan and we're gonna throw that in the oven for I believe it's 10 to 12 minutes. I did not write that part down for some strange reason. Kind of in a hurry this morning, I guess. I had to go get eggs from my local egg farmer. So that was my chore this morning. All right, so I'm gonna put it in my pan. I'm gonna spread it. You want it to be the same thickness all the way through so it cooks evenly. And like I said, it turns out great. I do like the fact that we use coconut flour. You can't taste the coconut, I promise. You taste the parmesan. But I like the texture of it better. A lot of times when I use almond flour, it's kind of a gritty texture. It's just, it works for some things, but not for others. But I'm gonna spread this throughout the pan. Like I said, it's gonna seem super, super liquidy from what you're used to when you work with dough. It's okay, it's going to cook, right? Those eggs are gonna puff up. It's gonna be perfect. And you can, I've had multiple people try it. It tastes pretty good. So, you know, really what it's about is not necessarily denying yourself all the things that you love. I know pizza is a big one for a lot of people. So your goal is really just to find a healthier version of the things that you already know that you love. Now, once in a while, I still do the actual full version of it, just, you know, but I have to be careful because sometimes my body doesn't like it and it will tell me so. All right, so we spread this. And I'll just show you, I did find a no sugar added marinara sauce, which is what I'm gonna use today for my pizza. And I do have an already made crust. So I'm gonna show that to you in just a second here. And again, I don't do anything complicated. So I've tried a few of those that usually don't turn out. So I keep it super simple. Not just that, but I don't have a lot of time to cook. So I wanna make sure that I make it simple and I want the biggest bang for my buck. So just making sure it's not too thin in any one spot. All right, I'm gonna throw this in the oven and I'm gonna grab my marinara sauce and the crust that I've already made and I'm gonna show you how easy it is. All right, super simple, going in the oven. All right, so I'm gonna set that for 10 minutes and then I'm gonna check it. All right, so timer. So what you're looking for is you're looking for browned edges, but not necessarily cooked all the way through. Then you're gonna put your ingredients on it and put it back in the oven for a little bit longer. So I'm gonna grab the marinara sauce. Now I find this at a local store called Yolks. I'm sure that you could find like Kroger, Fred Meyer, they have a whole health food section. And this is called, and I can't even read this, it's like More Glen Organic. I don't know, but I do know that it's no sugar added. And if you look at the ingredient list, which I know you can't see right here, but it's all organic. So there's literally no sugar in this one, just a lot of spices. And that's why I like it. So it's a great big jar, so you'll have to plan to use it pretty quickly, which sometimes happens at my house, sometimes not. Okay, so here is my ready-made crust. You can see that some people have been nibbling on it, and I'm okay with that. Because again, if it works for the family, it's a great recipe. Every once in a while I have some epic fails, but more often than not, it usually ends up being pretty good. And I remember growing up, my mother used to use spaghetti sauce all the time for pizza, so I was used to it. Now, I have not been able to find a true pizza sauce that does not have sugar, at least not locally. But if you find something, post that down below in the comments, because of course it makes it beneficial for everybody if we all know where to find the things that we're looking for. And if we vote with our dollars, if we tell the people that make them, hey, we like products that are healthier and that don't have a lot of sugar and additives and preservatives, toxins, then they will keep making it and we'll be able to find it in more places. So, okay, I think I got it. All right, so then you can add your toppings. I'm just gonna add probably a little bit of chicken. Like I said, I tried to find Canadian bacon this morning, but I couldn't find anything uncured. Same with the pepperoni. I did see some salami, some uncured salami. I'm just not a fan. So again, your choice. You could put a bunch of vegetables on here, make it super healthy. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of mozzarella cheese, and then I'm gonna just broil it for just a minute or two and let it turn out so that we can all enjoy it. So hopefully you like this. Hopefully you're getting some great ideas. Healthy food does not have to taste bland. You just have to be creative, which I know it takes a minute. You're gonna have to look for recipes, try it, see if it works. That's kind of why I do this. That way I kind of do the testing portion of it and let you know if we like it at my house or not. And I have a 13-year-old that's pretty honest about the food here. So if he doesn't like it, well, you know, it just kind of goes that way. So if you have a great recipe that you would love to share, please pass it on. I get my greatest, best ideas from you. You can drop a comment down below, or you can message me directly at Facebook Messenger. And if you'd like to see past episodes of Meals with Melissa, definitely go to my YouTube channel under Fillmore Fitness, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that every time we post a new one, you could go back and look through it. There should be recipes to almost everything that's on there by now. It's taken us a while to catch back up with it, but we're getting there. So have a great weekend. Stay cool, people. I know it's super hot here. It's supposed to be 117 on Tuesday. That's like Arizona weather. And it's humid here too. So it's a little bit too much, but we're hanging in. We're gonna make it through it. Try something fun. Have some coconut flour pizza crust. Put your favorite stuff on it and enjoy your weekend. Have a good one. Stay healthy, my friends.